that, getting hit multiple times. Coming out of that bike section, more drivers coming to blows.
Hello and welcome everyone to Slow Motion Broadcasting's coverage of the Ray Esports Formula Fords here at Sonoma this afternoon. My name is Adam Thompson. I am joined in the booth by, well, we're joined from people all across the country, all across the world. The Italian Guido Marzucchi, the producer for this race, like he is every week. And then I just offended you, Charles, and I apologize about that. He's from Alabama, not Georgia, but we've got Charles Boshell in the booth as well today. Sonoma this afternoon or this morning, depending on where you're at in the world, is going to be an absolute blast. Sonoma Raceway has been transformed since the late 1980s from a sleepy road course with basic facilities into one of the busiest motorsport facilities in the United States. The circuit has hosted a diverse range of series over the years, from Indy cars to the ALMS and Grand Am, alongside non-domestic series such as the World Touring Car Championship. It is now mostly known, Charles, for its NASCAR races up there in wine country, and, well, we are running the NASCAR layout this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you're right. This has been a NASCAR annual event for as long as I can remember, and I'm an old guy. So, I mean, it's been on the calendar forever. Yeah, thanks. Also runs Indy quite a lot as well. So it's good to see the Formula Fords out here. I will say this, for as much play as it gets in the NASCAR world, this is probably one of the least used tracks in iRacing outside of the NASCAR series. There's not a lot of series come and run here. So it's seems like every time we're here at this facility, which is not very often even for us, it just seems like there's a little bit of a learning curve involved in this. And now we're in the NASCAR short layout, which is not something we normally run, which is even a little more different. So it's always a little challenge to get things ramped up and get your mind wrapped around the track and kind of get your rhythm built for a 40-minute race here.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely interesting to see how these guys are doing. And while we figure out your keys to the race here, Charles, I'm going to mention that I did do a couple of laps around here before we started the broadcast this afternoon, and it's tricky. It really is. I mean, the top of the hill, you've got a few very, very technical spots here, especially at the top of the hill. We're going to see a lot of off tracks. There is a corner as well that you're going to be able to take a lot of liberty on, and that's going to be turn 4 after you come over the top of the hill. I was not able to get an off track there, but the off tracks around turn 3 are going to be very interesting. And then obviously the hairpin, we've seen quite well. We're speaking of turn 4, right? Or turn 3, excuse me, right there into turn 4. You can see drivers, you can go super wide there watching Andrew Love right now, but you just saw he probably got an off track there on turn 3. Quickly here, while we've got just a second here with about 5 minutes left in qualifying, we can go over some points for you whenever we get those up. In the championship standings for S1, Mikey Pollard is very close to Maurizio Nizelli right now, but sounds like Maurizio is not going to be racing with us for a while. I think has a bit of an issue, not able to get into his rig at the moment. So Mikey Pollard really is doing a good job here, being consistent up in first place, 653 compared to Maurizio 625. Richard Harwood down there in third with 573 points. Ian Anderson and Christopher Cash round out your top 5. In S2, we are going to see Dmitry Lukanov, who is just peeling away from the rest of the pack here. And I'm looking here at his the race winners for the past few races in S2. It's been Dmitry for the last 2 races, and then he won 4 in a row before that. Paul Jackson split him with 1 race. So Kevin Adrian in second with Peterson Roca in third. Paul Jackson and Daniel Verone round out your top 5 in S2. And in your Masters class, another close one. Jorg Mani and Antonio Reese have been splitting wins like crazy. Well, not really. Jorg Mani was really, really good at the beginning. Antonio Reese did get him at Oran Park, though. Antonio has not been having the greatest of luck, I think, from when I've been watching him on the starts and stuff, so we'll have to see how all that works out. But probably got about 3 minutes left, or 4 minutes left now in qualifying, so we'll go ahead and take an onboard lap here with someone while we wait for your keys to the race here, Charles.
Yeah, they're ready to go. As we'll go ahead and do the onboard lap real quick. And this is with Jay Ray as we come around through turn 1, up the hill into turn 2, as you mentioned, and Jay is going to pull over and park.
Thank you, Jay.
Perfectly done. Jay. There we go. Great job, Jay. So we'll see if we can pick up somebody else. There we go. Here we got Jorg coming around. So Jorg Mani coming around, and we'll start this again. We work our way through the start-finish line, through the quick kink at turn 1. Up the hill we go into turn 2, and then you mentioned turn 3. Very, very difficult. Blind apex, blind crest, trying to get that exit right as we work our way over the hill through turn 4 and then up into, I believe, 5 and 6. So very, very same thing. Lots of blind apexes here as we climb the hills, working our way down to the back half of the circuit. Quick lap around turn 7. This is the wide angle there. You get that lot of run on the outside there without getting off track. And then down into the hairpin and on our way out through, I think we're probably around turn 10 or so here as we work through the S's section on the back half of the track. Just very, very flowing set of corners here. Great job by Jorg getting that just about right as we work our way down into the final couple of corners. Very, very quick right-hander here It's going to flow all the way out. You're going to catch it right there on the curbs and into the final very, very hard braking zone here, the final corner, wrapping it around almost a 180 and then back out to take the end of that lap. It's a very quick lap, obviously, in the NASCAR short circuit. But as you see, it's going to be quite a challenge for these drivers as we get a quick lap there. And we'll quickly go over the keys to the race today. Obviously, with a 40-minute race, we know we got a mandatory pit stop. The pit lane here is very long, longest ever, as Guido told me before the race. But the pit entry is also very tricky, and the exit is as well. It's very dangerous as you're flowing out into the racing line. Could see lots of black flag due to off tracks, as we saw. It's very challenging on some of these corners to get those right. You will see cars off the track. And we could see some drivers have to come for that drive-through for too many incident points. And then finally, There's a few good braking zones here where you can be very aggressive on the brakes, try and get a move done after a long run. So we'll be looking for that as well. And those are keys to the race today.
Yeah, I would expect. I'm looking here for an updated track map of the NASCAR short circuit. So apologies there for the misnumbered corner names, but what would be the corner on the back there, turn, like you said, I think turn 7, that's going to be a very good overtaking opportunity. People can go very wide there, get some good runs, and especially after turn 6, where we have been seeing quite a few off tracks here in qualifying, it's going to be interesting to see what these drivers can do into the corner that we just watched Mr. Kevin Adrian go through. So yeah, there are going to be some overtaking opportunities as well. Obviously the hairpin there at the end, notoriously, I believe it was Tony Stewart and Denny Hamlin on the final lap of the race turned their stock cars into demolition derby cars instead of actual race cars. But yeah, some very good overtaking opportunities here. Not a huge turnout this afternoon, but obviously this track isn't a track that gets run that often. But Charles, I think it is very, very fun.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the last time I raced here for myself, I think was in GT4s, and that was a bit of a challenge. But it is once you get the rhythm of the track, it is quite fun. I will kind of add on to what you said. Yeah, Mauricio Naselli not going to be here for the remainder of the season, obviously with some health issues. And then Antonio Reese told us last week he would not be here for this because he doesn't own the track. So he will not be gaining any points today. So York should be able to extend his lead in the Masters Class Championship.
Yeah, and I mean, we have just finished qualifying now, and speaking of York, he is, as long as Chris Murakami, who I don't think is out on track at the moment, is going to start on the pole for the Masters. So York just got to keep it clean here. Really is going to be what he has to do. Mikey Pollard, though, we mentioned him with Mauricio Naselli out for the rest of the season. Mikey doing everything he has to do as well in first position. And look at this. I mean, we talked about Dmitry Lukinov streaking away in the Spec 2 championship. He's streaking away from most of the Spec 1 drivers right now.
He really is. He is just improved. Was already a really good driver at the start of the season, has just improved week in and week out, and now he's challenging for the overall race wins as a Spec 2 driver, which you know what that means. That means as soon as this season is over with, he will be promoted to Spec 1, and then the challenge starts all over again. So no good deed goes unpunished. We saw it with Jason Chen last season, winning the Spec 2, moving up to Spec 1. He had some good races early, but I think Jason had mentioned he probably wasn't going to be here for the entire season. So we'll see the same from Dimitri next season as well, I'm sure, moving his way up into the Spec 1 class, and then he'll have all the big guns to challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. And hello there, Kametui. I think I'm not even going to try that one again. Welcome to the chat, though. He is shooting our producer a bit of love. You don't need to give him too much love, but he did say good low fly pass there, Guido. So good job on the camera work. But we are just waiting on the drivers to cross the line and get off the racetrack so we can get you guys some results for qualifying and get the starting grid going here. We've got 18 drivers. Hopefully all 18 take to the track this afternoon. Yeah, I think really we're not going to have an issue. I don't believe there isn't a super difficult turn 1 here. So a lot of these tracks we go to, Charles, super heavy braking into 1 could cause some carnage, but I don't know. I'm confident that we're going to be able to see all 18 drivers cross the line after lap 1. We do have the grid ready, though, Charles.
All right, here we go. Starting on pole, Mikey Pollard, 117.307. Your pole qualifying time, Dmitry Lukanov, Spec 2 pole sitter and running on outside of row 1. Chris Cash starting in 3rd. Richard Hardwood starts in P4. Jay Ray starts in 5th. Jorg Monty, Masters class pole sitter, starting in 6th. Right behind him, Chris Murakami inside of row 4. Josh Wilkie, Spec 2, P2, starting in 8th. Trenton Kramer in 9th. Good to see Trenton back. Ian Anderson starting in 10th. David Lehman starts in P11. Kevin Adrian starts in 12th. Jeff Wupker starting in 13th. Andrew Love starts in 14th. Alan Nagasa starts in P15. Klaus Moeller on the outside of row 8 and 16th. Paul Jackson 17th. And Russ Telker rounds out your 18-car qualifying order. And yeah, I agree with you there, Adam. I don't think turn 1 is the problem. I think turn 3 is the problem here. If we still have battles too wide up the hill into turn 3, you're going to see some cars maybe get some shunts and punts. Some take it to the grass on the inside. Maybe some others take it to the grass on the outside.
Yeah, we're gonna see some fun racing here for sure. Hopefully, everyone can keep it clean. And Kame Taui, I don't know if you can sound that one out for me, but this is Double O Tonio. We've got Double O Tonio in the chat. Doesn't own the racetrack, but he's going to sit here and watch along with us this afternoon or this morning. I think it's afternoon for you, Antonio. But yeah, it should be good. But yeah, we do have the grid, and we're going to roll off. And Charles, we got some filler room here because we're doing a full pace lap. It's not that long, but we can go ahead and talk about some of these corners that we think are going to be an issue. So obviously what we talked about here, you can see there's kind of a kink after the start finish line, but I don't think that's going to cause many issues. And you start going up the hill right here though, Charles, is what you were talking about.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is turn 3. And yeah, as we said, blind crested apex, very difficult. You just have to know what that line is coming through there. And you go too wide through there. It's difficult on your own, and then when you got to put a car on on one side or the other, that just adds to the excitement. Same thing up here. It's the second one, another blind apex right-hander, which is turn 5, I think. And once we get through that though, then we get the hard braking point here. There's plenty of runoff room here. You'll see cars going out into that painted Toyota area, which is all well and good. This is a NASCAR layout, so they get a little bit more free reign on some of these corners as they work their way down into the hairpin. First real good passing opportunity if you get to run out of 6 into 7. And then you got to kind of watch where you're doing as you work your way through the S's. It's a very tight section of the track. So yeah, I'm looking for, once we get through those first couple of apexes over the hills in the first sector of the track, I think we're in good shape from there. And then it's just a matter of getting these cars wound up, getting the momentum in them, and getting ready to make your first move on your competitors.
Yeah, and Antonio, I totally agree. I totally agree with you. Why do we have 8 people watching this broadcast and nobody is liking, commenting, or subscribing to Slow Motion Broadcasting? Antonio, you're doing our work for me, or for us. Thank you, Antonio. Man of the people, I would say, for Antonio Reese. But here we come down into the final corner. We're going to see the pace car peel in, and like you mentioned, that long pit lane. They've got to go around the outside of the final corner on that pit lane, so get ready for a long pit lane. Now, when do they decide to go here? Is someone going to try to catch somebody out and go maybe in the middle of the hairpin? It doesn't look like it. Is he going to get on throttle now? No, they're waiting until the start-finish line, letting everybody grid back up, get back to it. Russ Telker, you can see him getting back in line there, and green flag is out, and away we go for Ray Esports Formula Fords at Sonoma through turn 1 at the moment. Everyone's, like we said, looking fine and clear, all good. But here we come into turn 3, Charles.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, already seeing a couple. There we go. Couple of instances. Oh,
no.
Man, who was that? Trenton Kramer, Jay Ray involved. I believe Chris Cash also involved in that. And you just saw it. Just once they got to the top of the hill, it all just kind of got stuck together, and the next thing you know, we've got cars jumping off each other and just general mayhem. But fortunately, only 2 or 3 cars involved, so we're still cleaning green up front. We do have a couple of guys that probably will have to come in a little early. Hopefully, they can ride it out till we get to the pit entry or pit cycle opened. about the 10-minute mark. Hopefully they can just kind of ride the storm out here and get settled back in. But we do have Jay Ray already in the pits. We've got David Lehman, Chris Cash, and Trent Kramer all with meatballs. They'll have to come in within the next 3 laps.
Yeah, that is unfortunate there. I mean, so I'm looking here at the track map, actually, and this is my one qualm with racetracks. Like, come on, racetrack organizers, whoever decides to make turn names for these racetracks, it shouldn't be turn 2, turn 3, turn 3A, turn 4A, and we go from turn 4A to turn 7A. What are we doing here? Come on, guys.
So
here we go. Go ahead, Charles.
This is a bizarre. No, this is a very bizarre set of corner numbers. I would have to agree with that. So yeah, this is turn. This is technically turn 2, and here's 3A, and now we're going to roll up into 3. I'm sorry, turn 3, and then 3A. Okay,
yeah, see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
But here we go, watching the start of the race here. Let's see who gets it wrong first. We saw a driver. Oh, it looks like, oh my goodness. So the blue, like Antonio mentioned, the chrome blue Formula Ford up there, I think maybe got a little bit spooked. Chris Cash, a little bit of contact had to get on the brakes, and that just caused the Constantina behind him.
Yeah, absolutely right. That's exactly what it was, and it's just everybody trying to get up that, cold tires on that first opening lap, and you get to see what happens as the cars just kind of sliding a bit and getting some contact done. As we see, we're going to get a good look here of Chris Cash, and just had to get on the binders and nowhere for Jay Ray to go, unfortunately, and then he gets it again. So then you see another car out there that might have been Lehman involved, or no, that was Trenton Kramer. I know that paint. I can remember that paint. So that was Trenton Kramer that got involved in it with as well. And so a couple of early victims here at the start of this race, but we continue on, and these guys will work it out. Looks like Cash and Kramer's in the pits. Cash deciding to stay out. He's going to try and run it out as long as he can go, which is probably not a bad strategy, because we're probably going to be, by the time he gets done with that third lap, around the 8 to 9 minute mark. So he might be able to get home on that one stop.
I think you're onto something there. Now, the question is, with that meatball flag, Charles, I think we've kind of talked about it, maybe make it to that 9-minute mark, but I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you get about 3 laps before you have to go in once you get a meatball flag. So as long as he can go slow, maybe run 3 laps to get that thing to make it to one stop, but that's going to be a big task there for Mr. Cash. But watching here with Pollard, well, not anymore. We're watching Wilkie and Murakami here going at it at the moment, on board with Mr. Joshua Wilkie. Going to be taking it, doing okay. Chris Murakami gets loose. Look out, Josh. What a move, and what a save by Chris Murakami.
Oh, yeah, that was a great save by Chris. And Josh, looking racy early in the early part of this race. He was very aggressive there. Took that inside line when he saw Murakami run a little wide, as he had to kind of catch the car. Could not quite make the pass stick, though, so he's going to have to hang behind for another couple of corners and look for a move. Maybe he'll get a good run here and work his way down into that turn 4 or turn 7 cornering, and we'll be able to see if he can get a move done. But obviously it's so far, I mean, he's right on the tail, and nope, yeah, there we go. Looking to the inside, he's going to make that move down into turn 7.
Oh, sorry, turn that's 7. Close. Chris turns in. Oh. That is not good. I don't know. We'll have to watch that from the onboard, I believe, when we have the chance. It looked a little close. Wilkie, looked like was there, and I think Chris just turned in. He's giving a bit of a wiggle, make sure everything's all good. I don't think there's probably much damage to the car, but yeah, you can see Wilkie gets to the inside, but he's not there yet. Oh, he's there side by side. Oh, no, Wilkie.
He got loose.
Wilkie gets loose on the curbing on the inside.
Yeah, he really did. And so, I'm going to guess racing incident. We'll let the stewards decide that. But, yeah, you can see he was being very aggressive on the inside, but as he was getting on the brakes, and just kind of lost the rear a little bit, and had to turn out, catch the car, and then that was the contact with Murakami.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. We are watching these drivers now starting to file out nose to tail. Some really good racing, some battles going on around the track, though, which is good to see. Right now we're watching DeGasis and Adrian. DeGasis trying to get to the back of Adrian. Paul Jackson back there trying to track down Klaus Mahler. And there's Wilkie there in 14th, trying to, now it's a recovery drive for him, unfortunately. Yep. But Dmitry Lukinov back here at the front is still right on the tail of Mikey Pollard. By the way, thanks, guys, for actually commenting. I didn't expect to get blown up that much in the comment section. But Tia Bea, I apologize, saying, I'm not sure we're even going to split here tomorrow for the SOF race. And that's what we talked about at the beginning of the race as we're watching this battle for P1 is not many people own this track. Not many people drive it, Charles. Yeah.
No, it's once again, it's. I think I can name the two least used tracks would be Sonoma and Barber, which is my home track. I think those are the two least used tracks in the iRacing service. So yeah, just not a lot of people own it because it's very sparingly on the calendar for anything other than NASCAR.
Right, and I mean, if you watch the racing here that we're watching right now, you wonder why more people don't buy it. Because again, I did drive this track, and I'm going to be the first to admit that was probably my first time driving this track. I own it for some reason, but that's just because I'm a psychopath and I try to own everything in iRacing. But I own the track, I never drove it, and it is a fun track to drive. So in case if you guys have the means to buy the track and run it, it is actually a lot of fun. I mean, it doesn't look like it's a very flowy racetrack, but to be honest, it is. You got the bendy bits back there, as Josh Wilkie would say, 7A through turn about 9, which gets a little weird, but the whole rest of the track is quite a lot of fun. So, yeah, give it a try if you guys can. But back here with Chris Murakami right now, trying not to get tracked down by Ian Anderson right on his tail. And Ian Anderson is another driver we're going to have to look out here today, Charles.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like he's got some good speed in that car, and he's working on Murakami. Don't know if maybe Murakami might have a little damage from the contact with Wilkie earlier, so he may have a wheel bent and having two wheels. We got a car around. That's Klaus Muller, and that's that penultimate corner there, that quick right-hander before you get to the hairpin, and we're going to call that T10. So we're going to call that one T10, and as we're on board here, and we'll get the replay, and just losing the car on turn-ins. I think just was on the curbs on the outside there, and as he turned in for that right-hander, rear and just let go.
Listen, guys, I can start an argument with you in the chat right now if you want me to. Sonoma is a fun track to drive. You know what? If you guys, everyone's saying, ew, no, I don't like the track. I need reasons why you don't like the track. It's fun, okay? Go ahead and argue about that in the comment section. But back here on board right now, we're looking at Paul Jackson. He is about to get swamped. Andrew Love around the outside. I think Russ Telker just went around the outside of him as well. What has gone on with Paul Jackson? I would assume a bit of a mistake there.
Yeah, kind of what it looks like. He's kind of dropped down. He's in P11 and just got put behind Telker and Love there. As we're going to get a replay, and let's see, we're coming around through turn 1, up the hill to the no-name corner, and into turn 2, and just too much speed, and had this car pushes wide, would not make that corner at that rate of knots, and so he's going to give up that position to Telker there, and it's going to make a little bit as they work side by side, and you can see what happens when you're side by side through the corners. Andrew Love looked like he was running 100 miles an hour faster than those cars and just climbed up the back of them.
Oh, it is quite nice to see that iRacing does allow track limits to go unnoticed sometimes, unlike COTA. iRacing, please fix that. But watching here at Sonoma when they go through 4A, you saw Andrew Love never even attempted to make the apex into turn 4. He just drove it through the paint and around the outside, which was awesome to see. That's a very good passing opportunity like we talked about. But Dmitry Lukinov, we haven't talked about the front because we do have battles going on all over the pack. Dmitry really just kind of hanging out behind Mikey Pollard, kind of like what Richard Harwood is doing here with Jorg Mani. We still have, we have another battle here with Chris Murakami, Ian Anderson, and Kevin Adrian going to battle now. Chris Murakami still holding on to that P5 position, obviously second in the Masters class, but yeah, we've got Murakami here doing what he's got to do. We did mention maybe he has a bit of damage, as it looks like Ian Anderson going for the move here. Let's see if he can make that one stick. That was Kevin Adrian on Ian Anderson. Excuse me. Kevin Adrian does make that stick, and that's impressive. Kevin Adrian showing some pace here in the Spec 2 class, doing everything he's got to do, Charles. That's impressive to make a move on Ian Anderson.
Yeah, it really is, and it's a nice move to the inside there. You see that great opportunity for a pass there in that final corner as we get this group of four headed up the hill into turn two. And I was going to say, when I was not coughing, that I think those front two guys are probably in the fuel save mode here at this point in the race. They're just out there doing some lifting, coasting. Lukanov not in a hurry to try and get by because we know we've still got the pit stop to come. I wouldn't say that about Jorg. I think Jorg doesn't do fuel saving. I think he's basically 10 out of 10 pretty much from the green flag until the checkered. So it's probably just him and Harwood. Maybe it's a little bit off the pace of those top two. But now I say that Lukanov makes his way around.
Well, it looks like either there was a mistake from Pollard or that was a designed pass. Pollard saying, okay, go ahead. I see what you might be trying to do here. Let's see what happens with Mikey Pollard. Does he get it on the grass? He does. No. Pollard goes, yeah, he dives to the inside.
Maybe he got a slow down.
He might have gotten a slowdown.
Well, I didn't see the yellow flag come up, and that would be our indicator. So maybe he just decided I don't want to fight this early in the race and just decided to let Lukanov go. And
I think he did.
Yeah, so still doing a little fuel saving between those two. Maybe he decided to let Lukanov do the break the air for a little while, and he just run in second. And like I said, they'll settle it after the pit stops are done. We'll see where everybody is, and we'll go from there. But there's still a nice 4-car battle here between Love, Telker, Wilkie, and Jackson. Wilkie's starting to work his way up, on that recovery drive. Now he's back up to P11, so he's working his way up through this group of cars, and we'll see how much faster he goes as we see Chris Cash set the fastest lap of the race there with a 1:17.4. Still very tight there, and you see Wilkie getting loose again there on exit. It's a great place to make a move, but I think you need to get it done early and get it out of the way, because otherwise we've got who we got in the pits? We got Pollard in the pits. Okay, so Pollard's going to come in and take his pit stop.
Now the question is, where does he come out? The track map, if we could get that pulled up, we do have drivers already kind of spread out throughout the racetrack. So we're going to have to see if Mikey Pollard can come out in a bit of clean air here. We know how long that pit lane is. Pollard has already been in that pit lane for about 27, 28, 29, 30 seconds, and he hasn't even hit his pit box yet.
Yeah. It's so we're seeing 30 plus seconds before he even got to the pole sitter's box on the end of the pit. So it should be a very quick exit. And we'll see where he ends up. But obviously it looks like he's going to be almost down at the very bottom. Yeah, P13 when he comes out, as we see the only cars he's in front of are the cars that had that wreck on lap one. Kramer, Cash, and Wubker still several seconds behind him.
Here we go again.
For those guys still to come. And there's Wilkie, this time making the move early, getting it done.
Oh, and he still gets loose.
Still gets loose there on exit, but I think that might have been a little bit of the curbs had something to do with that, but he gets the move made, and he's up another position into P9.
Yeah, and again, looking here at Mikey Pollard, I want to get back to his pit stop. He did come out in very clean air. He's not racing anybody. 7 seconds to Klaus Mahler, so Pollard doing okay. Wilkie makes the move, though, on Telker. Now he's going to be trying to track down Andrew Love. Wilkie qualified in P8, so he has only lost one position here, so he's already almost back to where he started from. I think he expects and wants more, though. You can tell the pace in that car that he wants more, but I don't know. It's 7 seconds almost. Well, 7.2 up to Alan DeGasis here. So Wilkie's really going to have to try to get something done here. Watching Kevin Adrian, though, trying to fend and hold off for his life. Ian Anderson, he made a very clean move past Ian, but now he hasn't really been able to pull away. And not something that I was going to talk about here at the beginning of the race is slipstream, Charles. It looks like there may be some slipstream effect around here.
I mean, it does look like there's a little bit, and there's not a lot of, there's not a lot of straightaways, but these S's, I mean, you're pretty much still powered, full power, full throttle through there. So the slipstream will definitely give you an assist, and that is helping keep it there. As we see, Wilkie's now caught up to the back of Love. He's going to start looking for that move as they work their way around the final couple of corners to get this quick right-hander. turn 10, and then we're going to get the run down into 11. Is he going to move to the inside and try to late break on Andrew? He is indeed. Is he going to get it made? He
Beautiful
is
move.
Indeed. Great job. That's exactly how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, it is. Now, Wilkie, watch turn 7A, brother. Just hold on to it through turn 7A, and you're going to be okay. Wilkie back to where he started from. And here in the comment section, while we're watching this battle between Andrew and Josh still going on, I told him to argue in the comment section, and they made some good points here, Charles. They really did. So, Tia Bea, I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, that might be Casey Knight. I could be wrong on this, so I apologize if I am, but says you're not overtaking people here unless the guy in front makes a mistake. And then RGL Motorsports said, thing with iRacing is a generalization. Most people on the service are only fans/spectators of top-tier racing programs, so their focus is emulating what they are a fan of. And that's true, but if they're trying to emulate this, you don't, everyone says that the NASCAR races around here they get populated quite a bit. I would argue that, especially the road races, when they do have, like, I do NASCAR iRacing series and stuff like that, when it goes to road racing, you will see a lot of people skip those as their drop weeks as well. So I just, in that sense, I wonder if Sonoma is just, if they're trying to emulate those top tiers of racing, the road courses just don't get the love they deserve.
I mean, that's possible, but I would say that if you to counter the argument for there's not a lot of passing unless you make a mistake. I just saw Josh Wilkie do one. So now he did a couple of them, not the greatest in the world, but the last one against Love was perfect. I mean, he went down late braked into the last corner and moved to the inside, made the pass. That was exactly how you're supposed to do it. So it's there are positions that you could be made just on your skill, just like any other track. Even if it's only got 4 turns and they're all left, there is some skill involved in driving these. And I have seen to counter the argument for some of the normal NASCAR racers skipping the road courses. You'll see a lot of GT drivers come over and run the NASCAR series when they are at the road course. So so you get a new flavor. When you go to those road courses, you get those road course ringers come in on those weeks and say, hey, I know how to drive Watkins Glen. Doesn't matter what car you put me in. You put me in a NASCAR, I'll drive it just as good as I can with a GT3. Right. So I will say this. I think Sonoma is a really good track, and I would equate it to CTMP. CTMP, until you learn it, it sucks. Yeah.
Wow, so, Guido. Okay. I mean, get out of here. You know what, Guido? If you weren't running the cameras right now, this guy just said most Americans don't know how to turn right. So if you are in the chat and you're an American, flame him right now. If you weren't running the cameras, Guido, I'd kick you out of this booth.
So anyway, like I said, I would compare Sonoma to CTMPs. Until you learn how to drive CTMP, it sucks as a track. But once you figure out how to drive it, it is a blast to drive. I think Sonoma is very much the same way. Until you log laps and get the rhythm of the track, it sucks to drive. But once you figure it out, and I don't have it down pat by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm at a point now that I can navigate the track pretty well, and I have a good race here. We see Trenton Kramer off the track there. That was turn 3A, I believe, is just running a little wide, got in the grass.
Yeah, absolutely. Kramer has not been having the best of luck. I think it started on we're going to get this right. I think that started on turn 2 at the beginning of the race, and he might be at turn 2 again. Oh, no, that is turn 3A that Kramer makes that mistake, but he holds on to it somehow. The alligator or the crocodile or whatever, we've always had this. I think that's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle scheme, but whatever it is, does not like the grass that much. It likes wet, and it is not very wet in Northern California right now.
It is not, and it's normally not very wet here year-round, I think. So, but yeah, just obvious, as you can see, once again, it's getting that rhythm. We get a run here. This is Pollard on Muller, gets that move made there, and that's just a difference in speed coming through turn 1. Pollard able to just keep his momentum going, make the move around, get clear, and set sail for the next car as he is slowly closing that gap down to Paul Jackson to get back up into the top 10. and we're still only halfway in the race, and we still have several people to pit.
Yeah, we have quite a few people to pit. Actually, Klaus Mahler, obviously, Paul Jackson gets around Klaus Mahler, or sorry, Mikey Pollard got around Klaus Mahler, but yeah, he's the last one to pit, really, in the top 12. Pollard has pitted already, and that's what I wanted to mention. I haven't really been looking at Pollard's lap times compared to Dimitri. You wonder, with Dimitri out there in free air by himself, not following, being able to follow anybody as Mikey Pollard follows the fastest lap. I think I may have just said what I wanted to say. Without Dimitri not being able to follow somebody, who is that goes around? That's Anderson that goes around.
Yeah, and I think that was maybe just not enough brake on the entry of the corner, and had to check the car up. We're going to get another replay here as they're working their way up through 1 into no name into 2, and carried too much speed, and it was basically just a reaction check up to make sure they didn't hit the back of Adrian's car, and then by doing so, obviously locking the brakes and losing the rear a bit. So it's cost him several seconds, and he's dropped the position. So he's going to have some time to make up, as now that gap between him and Adrian, which was virtually nothing, is now about 5 seconds.
Yeah, so looking at last lap times here between Pollard and Anderson, between Pollard and Lukanov, Pollard runs a 17.6, while Dimitri ran a 17.63. So really, 3/100ths of a second separated the last lap. So what I said about Dimitri not being able to follow someone through and follow to be fast, I was wrong. Dimitri does have the pace. We're just going to have to see how the pit stops shake out here, Charles.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be, how much time can Pollard gain by getting a little bit of toe off the cars he's making moves around. If it's a positive or negative, it's going to slow him down. But it didn't look like, and as he made that move around Klaus Muller earlier, that he lost any time at all. So we'll see if see how it comes out, as we still have, like I said, the top 10 still yet to pit. So it's we've got about half the field pitted. At the 23-minute mark, you figure they'll go to around the 30-minute mark, is about as much fuel as they can carry, and then they're going to have to come in and make their pit stop.
So, Charles, do you remember I commentated? I don't believe you were on the broadcast. I think you might have still been in Europe at the time, but we had Jorg Monty in the broadcast booth, and it was at Laguna Seca, another California track, and he said it was boring. He got bored. Right? He was like just driving around by himself. He goes, that was the most boring race ever. Well, right now, I don't think he's bored. He has had Richard Harwood breathing down his neck for the past 23 minutes.
Yeah, no, I don't think Jorg is. I don't think Jorg is bored at all. He's still hanging on there. As it's P2 and P3. Obviously, that'll cycle back around after the pit stops. But yeah, it's been Jorg and Richard. Basically, since the drop of the green flag, those cars have been kind of tied together, and not a real gap has been made by either car. So we see it looks like we got a little bit of lap traffic there in front of Jorgus Muller, who just came out from his pit stop. So he's going to drop behind these cars, or should ease through, as we see Jorg with a little blink in there. So his Swiss internet has a few holes like the cheese as we get down through, and that Muller just moving over to the side, letting those guys get by and continue their fight.
You're a dad, right, Charles?
I am.
That was probably one of the better dad jokes I've heard quite a bit. So that was a good one. But yeah, still here watching Jorg Monty go do what he's got to do right now in P2. But again, we're watching this battle. That might all change. But what I want to mention right now is you look at the top three. If you look at that line just to the right of their number, you see a green one, a yellow one, and a red one. The green one is Spec 2. The yellow one is Masters. The red one is Spec 1. We've got 3 different classes in the top 3 right now.
Yeah, this is not the first time that's happened. I think we've had a couple of final results where we've had all three classes on the podium. So it's good to see, and it just shows you that some of these races is less to do about setups and about the track and how many laps you driven, and it's just based on driver skill and you see the cars out there. Even when I think all the pit stops are done, I think we'll just have maybe a different Spec 1 car up there in that top 3, but I think the top 3 will still be Spec 1, Spec 2, and Masters. Not sure about the finishing position yet, but it's good to see. It's just, shows you that we've got good drivers in all of our classes.
Here's something I wanted to mention as well, Charles. So I cannot remember who got it wrong going into the final, going through turn 10, catching a lot of grass. I just watched Lukinov do it. And he has both left side tires as we've got a battle here between Mikey Pollard and Paul Jackson. That was really, really close. But they get through it, and now that battle's going to continue. I would assume Mikey Pollard is going to get past Paul Jackson going into the hairpin, and he does. But my goodness, that was close. But speaking back to turn 10, which is where we just watched that battle go through, if we could go back to Dmitry Lukinov here as he gets to turn 10, Dmitry is hanging both left side tires off of the racetrack, which is where we saw that spin. And you mentioned setup. I wonder if setup may have a bit more to do with it than what you think, Charles, to allow that car to be able to handle the transition from the asphalt to the grass.
I mean, that's very possible. That's obviously leading. He doesn't want to lose time, but that's a dangerous proposition to put both left sides in the grass, working your way around that corner. It's just not something that I would advise that every lap. Even though you're trying to keep up, as we get a little bit of a tussle here. That's Pollard getting around Telker now. To move up another position. That's up to P8. So kind of wondering now if that, those couple of passes, obviously it was a little tricky there with Jackson. It didn't look like the easiest pass in the world there, the way those cars came out of turn 7A with Telker. So kind of wondering if he's maybe dropping a little bit of time as he's having to work through traffic.
I think he is. His last lap was 18.34 compared to Dimitri's 17.57. So he has lost a little bit of time. Oh, no! That was Klaus Mahler going wide right in front of Trenton Kramer. Trenton has had his life flash before his eyes a few times this race. And that was another very, very tense moment.
Yeah, it really was as they're coming up. And I think it's through into 3A. Yeah, very quick and just carry too much speed. Over the grass. Ooh, little overcorrection there as he was trying to catch the rear of the car. Puts the left side into the wall. I think that car's got that. Yeah, he's got the meatball flag. Yeah. So obviously suspension damage on the left front. So tough break for Klaus. Was having a pretty decent run. Wasn't necessarily running his way up through the field, but obviously wasn't that's not going to help matters. And you see him just limping it around, trying to get back to the pit entry as we see Jorg Monty in the pits. So another one in with the 28, almost 29 minutes gone in the race. Kevin Adrian, Alan DeGassis in. So we've still got a few more. Lukinov, Hardwood, Anderson still out there. And I think those are the last 3 to come into the pits. So those will be the last 3, and probably my guess would be coming in on this lap. Because those guys, maybe, Hardwood might go an extra one just because I think he's been running behind Monty for the entire race. So maybe he's managed to save a little bit of fuel. But Lukinov's been kind of running out by himself. So he hasn't, unless he's been doing lots of lifting and coasting, which doesn't look like from the lap times, then he's probably coming in this lap.
Yeah, I would assume so. Last lap for Lukinov was a 17.67. Last lap for Pollard was a 17.51. So Pollard gets back on the horse here and gets about a 1/10 of a second back on Lukinov. And it's looking like the pit lane time is around 48 seconds. That's what Pollard did. 51 seconds for Jorg Monty and about 45 seconds for Chris Cash. So we're looking here at the gaps. If we could get the gap to the leader very quickly here, producer, we can see where exactly Pollard is to Lukinov, because that's going to be what we want to see as Lukinov just runs the fastest lap. Remember what I said about Pollard getting back on the horse here? Well, Dmitry saw that, clearly saw that, and was like, okay, I'll show you what a real lap looks like. 17.32 for Dmitry Lukinov. Pollard has yet to come across the line to get his lap in. It looks like he's going to be a 17.51 though.
There you go. And it looks like the gap is about 35 seconds between Lukinov and Pollard. So with a 45-ish second Pit lane time, obviously, it's not a true 45 seconds, so 45 to 50 seconds as you're going to be rolling through a great part of that. So it's going to be very close, I think, is what I'm trying to say as they work their way around. It looks like still have those three cars out there, Anderson, Harwood, and Lukanoff, your top three, still yet to pit. As we're on board here with Lukanoff in the pits now. And let's see where we are in relationship as Pollard is working his way around. Harwood in as well. I'm assuming Anderson's coming in as well. Once he gets there, he's working his way through the S's now. Coming around through turn 10. And going to stay on the left-hand side, and he is coming into the pits also. So that'll be our last three. So now we've got Lukanoff. I'm sorry, we've got Pollard coming around the penultimate corner, working his way into the hairpin. Lukanoff still stationary on him. Haven't switched to pit exit yet. So let's see when we're going to get him moving. Not yet.
Not yet.
There we go.
Lukanoff going. Rolling. Here comes Pollard.
Here we go. So here's the drag race out, and you can see there goes Pollard by. And so now Lukanoff's got to get that car up to speed quickly. So it looks like it's going to be about as we get a little bit of a spin there, or no, it just looked like maybe some
lockup.
Some break up. Yeah, brake lockup.
Yep.
So 1.5 seconds the gap between Pollard and Lukanoff. So now Lukanoff has got the work to do to close that gap down before the end of the race.
He does, and we'll see if he can do it. Now Pollard in some clean air there. Just let's see what Lukanoff can do. Looking at the interval now, we've got about 1.5-ish seconds between the top three, and it's red, green, red now. Jorg Monty back there in third place or in fourth place in Masters, but again, doing everything he's got to do here.
Yeah, for sure. Jorg is he's not necessarily concerned about getting on the overall podium. He's concerned about getting his maximum points for the Masters class victory, and P4 result's going to be very good, as obviously points are based on your finishing order overall, not necessarily finishing order in class. So we see a nice battle here with Murakami and Kevin Adrian. Murakami looking to try and take advantage and get his way around as well. So he's got some pretty good pace in that car, and he's got a good run going here through the S's. So we're going to see if he can get this run down into the hairpin. Adrian's going to go defensive. He's going to leave him the outside. Is he going to take the long way around? Not going to be able to do it. Is he going to try an over-under? That is what he's looking to do, and couldn't quite get the run out of the corner.
Yeah, he didn't get the run out of the corner, but he got the run down the stretch, and here we go. Murakami around the outside into turn one. Gonna be nip and tuck here going into turn two. Murakami on the inside. That's not gonna work.
Oh, just that corner is so difficult to go too wide, as we've saw many times during the course of this race. And you see Murakami's got the right line. He's on the proper line. He'll be on the inside coming into turn two. As you see them just side by side coming up the hill onto the brakes. And as Adrian turns in, Murakami's there. And I'm not sure if Murakami may have locked up as well. So, once again, we're not stewards. We will not be deciding who's at fault for this. But to me, just kind of looked like maybe Murakami pushed a little wide there going into the corner. So a little bit of outside in and inside out. So, maybe just a racing incident. So both cars are still running, of course. Obviously, Kevin Adrian a little further down in the order, down in P8 now, as Murakami is still hanging on there in P6, and he's got Ian Anderson all over him.
Yeah, he's Ian Anderson is doing he's been quiet in this race. Ian Anderson, a very quick driver. I say he's quiet, but now we are watching Alan DeGasis and Jeff Wubker. Looks like Alan DeGasis is going to hold on to that for just half a second. That's Mahler. Oh, that's right. That is Mahler. The back marker there trying to get a bit of battling in. That I don't know how Alan's going to feel about that. But anyways, back up to some battles here. We've got Russ Telker right now. Looks like he's about a tenth of a second away from Paul Jackson. And then another battle, Wilkie back up into P9. He has lost that position again. I wonder if there was maybe just a bit of a long pit lane time looking here. About 50 seconds for Wilkie. Yeah, not very long. So we're going to have to see what happens here between himself and Kevin Adrian. Wonder if Wilkie's gotten wise to trying to make a move there in 7A. Looks like he was just kind of holding off, trying to be a bit patient there, Charles.
Yeah, I think so. But he's getting a good run and working his way through the S's. Like he's starting to tighten that gap up. So maybe he's looking for that move. He's made that move really successfully in the final corner. So maybe he's just trying to set up for that. And looks like he's going to have a good opportunity here as Adrian with a little wide coming through 10. And but covers the inside off. And Wilkie's going to hang on to it, see if he can get a run out. And not quite enough yet. So don't really see him trying to do anything. So I think he's content to be where he is for the time being, but it won't take much of the whoa, as we see that. I was coming up here. I don't know. I want to be moving out to the inside there. That's probably not the place you want to make that move. Let's reset that. And if you want to try that move into 7A again, okay. But I don't think I want to try it into 2. I think we've had enough of that for today. So, so I will say this: Lukanov is starting to close the gap. It's down to under a second to Pollard.
I know. So yep, you mentioned that. Yeah, you mentioned that, and I have to mention what Double Otonio said. Great recovery by Chris Cash. This is Chris Murakami going into 3A. Yep. Gets it wide. Yep, that's one of those spots that I mentioned drivers could go a bit wide on. I got plenty of off tracks there, the 4 laps I did here before the race started. But Ian Anderson, maybe another 3A incident, follows Chris Murakami right on out there. But yeah, we do have to mention Chris Cash as well. Great recovery, obviously involved in that first. What happened to Kevin Adrian? He had just lost quite a few positions. Where's Joshua Wilkie?
He's up to 9th, so he's ahead of Adrian and ahead of. Let's see what this is. We're going to look here, and that's just a little contact there, and that was two cars in the same spot. Unfortunately, that was in turn 10. And I think Josh wanted to let him back by, but I think he let a different car by. I think that's Alan DeGas's that got his way around, or at least was able to stay in front. But yeah, just kind of see that I think maybe Kevin lifted a little bit more than Josh expected, and then you saw a little contact there going through 10. And so Josh is through. Adrian's still sitting there in P10. And now Josh has Alan DeGas's in his sights. Trying to get up to P8, back to his original starting position here, as we see Pollard now with the fastest lap of the race, 117.288. But not to be too far outdone, Dmitry Lukanov for the 3-3 win. So not much in it, 500ths of a second between those two cars.
Yeah, and in the chat, that's a great question. Says, when you get meatballed at the start, can you go in and get full fuel, or is it locked to 85 liters?
I think it's locked to 85.
Okay, so if that is the case, if it's locked to 85, he said, would Chris have been able to get to 6 laps, or are you locked at 85% capacity in the race too? I believe whatever it's locked at the start of the race, you are locked at for the whole race, but I could be wrong. Move! What is happening here? Alan DeGasis and Josh Wilkie wheel to wheel. Goodness gracious, that was tight.
That was extremely tight, and that was a fantastic move by Josh Wilkie into turn 2. Just turned in, and the car stuck on the inside, and that car just turned on a dime and left some change, and it was a great move. You'll see it here as you see him coming around. Just how tight he was on there and able to get that run out. Fantastic job by Josh. Great battle there with Alan as well. But Josh able to make that move stick and get through turn 3A and gets that done. And he's back off to the races again as we're coming up to the white flag. So are we on the white flag? We're on the white flag.
We are on the white flag now. Yeah, looking here. Dimitri has got to get a serious move on it here to get to him, and he is. That gap is coming way down. We do have a crash in the back. Sounds like Wilkie did wreck, but we're going to keep an eye on this as we get to the end of the race here. I don't think Dimitri's going to have enough. Mikey Pollard played this strategy perfectly today. He came out in clean air after his pit stop, stopped early, and was just able to track him down. There was some back and forth battles between the lap times as well, but it doesn't matter. As Lukanov does it again. He's been doing that every lap. I don't know how he's been able to hold on to that car, but Mikey Pollard through the final corner, winning at Sonoma here this afternoon, going to be about 0.8 of a second in front of Dmitry Lukanov, who has just absolutely killed his closest Spec 2 rival in Kevin Adrian, again going to extend his championship points even more. Richard Hardwood comes across the line in P3. Jorg Mani in P4. Chris Murakami made some good moves to get back up into P5, so Jorg Mani will be able to extend his championship lead a little bit, but Chris Murakami coming across the line right now in P5 overall, only one position behind his Masters rival of Jorg Mani. And there is a battle going on right behind them. There are lap cars. That looks like Alan DeGasis as well. Jeff Wupker to the inside. Who's going to get that? Looks like Alan DeGasis is going to get P7 with Wupker in 8th. Andrew Love is going to be crossing the line in about 8 seconds in P9.
Yeah, great run. It was a great race. Yeah, good strategy by Pollard coming in early, getting his pit stop done out of the way. Had some good clean track and was able to make the most of it. Lukanov, out there by yourself leading the race, it's real hard. It's real easy to just kind of lose focus and have your lap times drop off. That did not happen. He kept it close even after the pit stop. So great job by him. We're going to get a replay here of this last lap. We see Josh Wilkie working his way through here and just really slow coming into the final corner and just locks it up. Yep, just locks it up and a little contact from behind. And I can't say that, Guido, so you'll have to keep that one in the broadcast booth. Interesting ending there to that race. So we'll leave it at that. So obviously Josh not having the greatest ending in the world, but overall really good race on a very difficult track. But you saw some really good racing out there, even amongst the mid pack and the back markers as well. Everybody was trying to get as many positions as they could get, which is what you would expect from a Weekend Warriors race. And so it was good to see all that.
Yeah, it really was good racing. Definitely happy with the racing that we had. We had a few battles going on throughout the field, so it was definitely something that needed more drivers on track, but we still had some really good battles. And speaking of battles, the reason this race was brought to you this afternoon was because of the F600 Challenge. The F600 Challenge is a group of enthusiasts supporting and growing the Formula 600 racing class. F600 is an entry-level Formula car road racing class, widely regarded as the best bang for your buck in Formula car racing. We take our racing seriously, but we also value camaraderie and having fun. Our community is welcoming, and most of us have built lifelong friendships through racing in F600. Thank you so much to F600 Challenge for sponsoring this race this afternoon. But to the results, we've got Mikey Pollard, who wins the race. Great pit strategy. Dmitry Lukanov, never let him breathe, though. Comes home P2, leading the race for most of the laps until he had to come in to get his pit stop. Richard Harwood comes home in P3. Dmitry Lukanov, obviously your Spec 2 winner. Jorg Mani, your Masters winner, but Chris Murakami right behind him in P5 overall. Kevin Adrian in 6th, Alan DeGasis in 7th, Jeff Wupker 8th, Andrew Love comes home in P9 with Paul Jackson in 10th position. Trenton Kramer had some interesting debacles out there today, but ends up coming home in P11 on the lead lap, surprisingly for Trenton Kramer. Chris Cash Looks like he may have had another issue or another pit or something, because he had a great recovery drive, ends up coming home P12. Ian Anderson in 13th position. Russ Elker, Klaus Muller, Josh Wilkie, David Lehman, and Jay Ray round out the rest of the field. Looks like Lehman and Ray only made it to turn number 2 and then called their race quits. But it was a good one, Charles. It really was.
It was. Yeah, it really was. And I think the reason Chris Cash dropped down is because he did have to come in and take fuel. Obviously, with the meatball at the beginning of the race, could not get to the end. I think that's where the question came from. Could he have fueled up at the beginning of the race to get to the end? And the answer obviously was no. He couldn't. He had to come in and top off. But yeah, just looking at his time, though, he would probably finish somewhere around P4, P5. So obviously a great run until he had to come in for gas. So tough break. That's how it happens sometimes. But yeah, really, really good racing, and great job by all of our drivers. Saw some, once again, very difficult track that doesn't get used very often. So it's a little bit of a learning curve every time we come here. I do want to just reiterate what you said about the F600 challenge. Thank you very much. We do appreciate the sponsorship, and based on the reading there, that seems like a good fit for us as far as the communities are concerned, because this is one of the best communities in iRacing.
While we're waiting on interviews, we will go ahead and get to the upcoming broadcasts here. We have the Spec Racer Fords, which are not on the upcoming broadcast, unfortunately, but I know they're going to be at Road America. So that should be a good one to watch, and that's coming up in about an hour's time. And then tonight, if you guys didn't get enough of Sonoma, well, you're going to be able to get a little bit more. We're going to be at the Rallycross course at Sonoma for Cross Series League Racing, their second race in the Dirt Road Series. You will be able to catch myself and maybe Mr. Boshell, maybe if I can convince him, but I believe Joshua Wilkie's going to be in that one as well. So catch a bunch of idiots driving around on a Sunday night at Sonoma Rallycross course. And then on Tuesday, November 25th, Sim Racers Group is back with their F4 League at Misano GP. Then Wednesday, November 26th at 9:45 p.m. Eastern Time is going to be at Road Atlanta for SRG in the F3s. Then we're back here to Ray Esports Weekend Warriors on November 29th. The Formula V's at Okayama. You can catch Mr. Guido Marzucchi in action there. Sunday, November 30th, Formula Ford 1600s back with us at Lebanon, as Ron would say. And then on November 30th, again, about an hour after that, even though it says 2:45 p.m., is going to be the Spec Racer Fords at Jerez. Do we have any interviews yet? I don't believe we do. So I think we're going to go ahead and call it here, guys. My name has been Adam Thompson, joined in the booth by me, the always wonderful Mr. Charles Boshell. I'm glad you made it back from Europe okay, even with a bit of hardware as you posted with us, Charles.
That is correct.
Yes, so take a shot after that amazing race this afternoon, Charles. And then Guido Marzucchi there in running all the cameras, running basically just talking to me and confusing me most of the time while he's talking to me in my ear. Even though he's Italian, he's a pretty good guy, so shout out to Guido Marzucchi. But until next time, or for me, an hour from now, we will see you guys back here at Slow Motion Broadcasting.